who should Kenyans believe, Raila Odinga or the KDF?
Always say Baba is always right. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, Baba is never wrong. Rule number 3, if rule number 2 fails to apply, you refer to rule number 1. Baba is always right.
In the aftermath of the fiery Gen Z protest in June 25, 2024, Kenya found itself in an all too familiar whirlwind of intrigue, accusations, and grandstanding.
We are unhappy with this regime, yes. And we are saying from now on, yes. No turning back. Yes. Enough is enough. Yes. Enough is enough. Enough.
The drama kicked off spectacularly when former Prime Minister Raila Odinga dropped a bombshell that he single-handedly foiled a military coup against President Ruto.
Nchi hii inaweza kuchomeka ikiwa kama watu hawajihadhari sana.
Claiming he acted after receiving a cryptic SOS from an unnamed friend. Without Raila's heroic interventions, so his story goes, the generals would currently be lounging comfortably in State House, while President Ruto would have been swiftly shown the door. If Raila's account is to be believed, it paints him as an unlikely protector of the very government he has spent years opposing. His claims, published in national media groups' weekend editions, sent shockwaves across the country. Clearly rattled, the usually reserved and apolitical KDF quickly fired back through Defense CS Soipan Tuya. The military dismissed Raila's allegation with righteous indignation, branding the claims as false, baseless, unfounded, misleading, and reckless. They underscored their unwavering commitment to professionalism, integrity, and loyalty to the commander-in-chief, categorically distancing themselves from any whiff of coup plotting shenanigans. But here's where it gets interesting. Could the military actually take over the government? Historically, military coups in Africa have often been triggered by political instability, widespread unrest, or governance failures. Kenya, however, has largely remained immune to such interventions, with its armed forces maintaining a reputation for being disciplined and constitutionalists. That said, the Kenyan constitution is clear. Any military involvement in governance would only be considered under extreme national security threats with proper legal procedures in place. Meaning, unless there was total collapse of civilian leadership, KDF generals wouldn't be setting up shop in State House anytime soon. For instance, the military can only take over when there is a state of emergency. Under Article 132 and 58 of the Constitution, the President can declare a state of emergency if, number 1, the country is under attack, number 2, when there is total lawlessness beyond police control, number 3, a national disaster that makes civilian governance impossible. Even then, Parliament and the courts have to approve it. So, KDF doesn't just wake up and decide to take charge. Number 2, during martial law. Martial law is when civilian rule is suspended and the military takes over. Now, this isn't in the Kenyan constitution, but could theoretically happen if, number 1, the entire government resigns or disappears, which is very unlikely. Number 2, when there is extreme unrest that renders normal governance impossible, which is also highly unlikely. Number 3, when a rogue faction within KDF attempts a coup, which historically is improbable. Again, Kenya isn't your typical coup-prone state, so this remains a pipe dream for political thriller fans. Number 3, during a constitutional takeover. The National Security Council (NSC), chaired by President, can authorize KDF to step in if national security is at risk. But even then, this wouldn't be a full-scale government takeover. It would be assistance, not a coup. In general, Kenya has never had a successful coup, and for good reason, because if there was a coup, the judiciary would strike it down as illegal. And also the international community, AU, UN, EAC, would react with sanctions. And also civil society and Kenyans would likely protest against it. Plus, let's be real, a military takeover in 2025 would be more than just a national crisis. It would be a logistical nightmare. From diplomatic backlash to economic chaos, it's simply not worth the trouble.
Unasema Ruto aende. Aende alafu nani ifanyike? Mbeleni pale Ruto aende aweke Gachagua. Sasa Ruto aende, Kindiki aende abaki pale. Baadaye Kindiki aende weke mtu mwingine. Hakuna haja.
So, was Raila playing political chess, positioning himself as the man who saved President Ruto to gain some mileage? Or did he genuinely stop an invisible coup that KDF insists never happened? Either way, this sage proves one thing. In Kenya, the politics is often juicier than the reality. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts on our comment section. That is it for now. Thanks for watching. Let's meet next time. Bye-bye.